Well, here we go again. Welcome to my channel. Good morning, everybody, or good day, or whatever day you're watching. This is a podcast of Beyond Click and Cliff. Podcast where I tell you things that's going on in my world, in my head, life experiences. It's basically a big old story time channel. I tell you about life experiences and stuff like that. Things that happened to me growing up or through the day or something, or what's on my mind, something bothering me and all that stuff. I just share it. I'm transparent, so and I really don't hold nothing back. I tell all, and that could probably be a good thing or a bad thing. Who knows? But this is something for you to listen to while you're driving, while you're doing your chores, cleaning house, maybe even working. At least a 15-minute or so, 20-minute chat. You can have something to listen to on your lunch break or whatever you may be doing. I hope I make you laugh, smile, and all that good stuff too. I hope you've been enjoying this. And, this channel is brand new, and I know it's small right now, but hopefully we can get the word out and make it bigger. I don't know. But anyway, welcome back, everybody. Today, kind of just want to talk about life in general. Things that maybe I can inspire somebody. That could be a good goal, right? To inspire. How do you inspire somebody? I don't know. I don't even know what inspire really means. I don't know. But I want, for people that may not know, I used to be a firefighter. I was a firefighter for almost 20 years. And had a mentor, or when I first got on the fire department, there was a guy who kind of took me underneath his wing, and I kind of looked up to him. And at that time he was a lieutenant. He ended up being chief for a short time before he gave it up. But he was the go get 'em attitude. I mean, like, he would not shy away from anything. Whatever he was asked, he jumped in there with 2 feet and did it, no matter what it was. And he was always positive, like, yeah, it can be done. And everybody else was looking at him going, are you sure? But he was one of those guys. He was one of those guys who jumped in there and did it. So we can do this, guys. We can do this. And he would fight until he got it done. And I will say, 99% of the time, he got what he put himself out to do done. I remember early on in my career, he wouldn't let you quit. I know there was a couple times where we were doing I think we were working a grass fire or brush fire, and it started taking off. I looked at Bob. I'm like, well, I gave him his name. His name is Bob. I looked at him and I go, dude, we're not gonna be. It's just like 3 of us here right now. We had more people coming. I'm like, there's only 3 of us here. How in the world are we going to stop this? This thing is getting out of hand. We better make sure the troops are coming, right? And he just looked at me, smiled. He goes, "This is where it's fun." Like, what? He goes, "Yeah, this is where you get to be fun. This is where we get a challenge." And boy, we dug in. We got the fire out before everybody else came there, and I was like, "Oh my lands, how did we do that?" And Bob goes, "See, every situation is different." He explained to me, he goes, "Every situation, man, you just do it. You know the job you have to do, you just got to go do it." And from there on, man, I try to have the same attitude. I try to get in and get stuff done, jump in and just do it, get it done, any way, shape, form. As long as the job's done, that's all that matters. We saved life and property. That was our job. And dude, I don't know if I can paint the picture. There was another scene. It was during an ice storm. In '07, where I lived, we had a huge ice storm. I mean, fire trucks really couldn't get out. I mean, we get on the road and I'm on ice like this thick. And it was horrible. I mean, it was a bad situation. Of course, I got stuck at the station for the whole week. That was fun. So I just stayed there and worked. But I remember we had a structure fire. And we got out there finally. Of course, by the time we fought the ice, trying to get the fire truck out there, some people say heavier is better. Not on ice. That fire truck, man, we were going, I swear, only 5 miles an hour, because if we went any further, we were spinning out, and that truck would be horrible if it went in the ditch. It was just a horrible scene. We got to the structure, and it was fully involved, and there was no entry at all. We couldn't enter to put the fire out. It was basically lost cause. By the time we got there, and it was no fault of our own, man. The weather was against us. We could not get there quick. Perfect situation. We probably could have got there, and if the roads were clear, we could probably got there and put the fire out and saved property. But we had no chance. Well, what I thought. Bob was the lieutenant. Oh, no, I think he was captain at the time. He made captain, and of course, I went in with him because, there's always 2 in, 2 out. There was nobody going in there by himself. You always had a partner in every job. Didn't matter what job you had that the chief gave you, you had a partner. You had 2 guys on everything. Even if it's going to get people water, you had 2 people to watch out for each other's safety. You never knew when something was going to fall down or clunk you on the head, or what the situation may come up. You had to have somebody to watch each other's back, and that's what the rule was. It was 2 in, 2 out. That's on everything, every job. So I went with Bob. Of course, he threw on SCBA, and if anybody that doesn't know what SCBA is, self-contained breathing apparatus, the tanks that they wear on their back with the mask on their face. He was packing up, is what we call it. And I asked him, I said, "Why are we packing up, man? This is a surround and drown situation in my opinion. This is a surround and drown." And at that time, it was a surround and drown. We just kind of let sad to say, horrible to say, but usually we would put water on it, but there's no saving the house, in my opinion. Of course, Bob had a different opinion. And he goes, "Nope, pack up." I'm like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Is this the day that they're going to bury me? What are we doing? So I did what I was told. He was my captain, and he was an officer, so I had to do what I was told. So I packed up. We started going towards the house, and I asked Bob, I said, "Are we actually going to try to go in this thing?" And he said, "Yep." I'm like, what in the world? I mean, just picture the house had flames coming out. There was a 2-story house, flames coming out from underneath the roof line through the windows, and all you see was orange inside of the house. I mean, it was fully involved. So here we go, 2 in, 2 out. Well, I wasn't gonna let Bob go in there by himself. You couldn't. I mean, that'd just be horrible. So I go, okay. So got my mask on. Checked for air, make sure I had no leaks. Back then, I couldn't have a beard. I had to have clean. I can have a mustache about right here. That's about it. So we had to make sure I had air. Got packed up, went inside, started fighting the fire, and we extinguished the living room. We extinguished the rooms, and finally, the chief saw that we were making progress, so he had another team come in there and hit the upstairs, and we had the ladder truck sitting there, people going on top and putting out. We got the fire out. I mean, literally, everything was black. But I'm going to tell you something. When there's something black, there's something not black. I promise you 20 years. And I looked at Bob afterwards. He pulled me to the side. He always took everything like as a teaching moment, and he was a good teacher. He'd take everything and teach. He would go and he pulled me aside because we had to have, after we come out, empty a tank, we have to take a break. It's mandatory. We have to get rested up, drink water, get hydrated, and rest a little bit before we go do another job. So that's what we did. We're sitting there in the recovery area is what they call it. Of course, we had a cup of coffee instead of water. Anyway, but anyway, we did that. He said, I go, Bob, I mean, we got the fire out, but it was a total loss. He said, nah, necessarily. There's this thing called salvaging overall. We go in there and we see what we can salvage for the people, the owners of the house or the occupants of the house. And we make sure all the fire's out. We extinguish ambers and stuff like that. We go in there and pull ceiling and all that stuff, making sure the fire's out. So, and he goes, watch it. We'll go in there and do salvaging overall. We'll find some stuff that's not burnt and possibly can give back to the owners. At least they could, have something. I said, okay, So we rested up. We took our packs off. We went back in there. Started doing salvage overall, pulling ceiling, open up closet doors, and to my surprise, whole closet, just a little smoke damage, but there was nothing burnt in there. I mean, the family pictures was in there we pulled out for them. Some stuff that was their ancestors we pulled out. It was a little smoke damage, but a little soap and water would clean it up. I think there was their jewelry box that was still in there. I think there was even a gun or safe in there. It had all their papers, insurance papers, and stuff like that. And so right then and there, I realized, you know what, Bob just taught me something. And we brought them out to the owners of the house, and they were so happy that they got to keep their pictures, got some of the family heirlooms, and there was a safe in there they were able to keep, and a gun safe that they were able to get out. They were ecstatic about that. They thought they lost their pictures, and yeah, they lost a bunch of stuff, no doubt, but the little bit things count. It's the little bitty things. And that is what it's all about. But, so yeah, I learned a lot. Never give hope. And that was my inspiration, was through him, because if he wasn't there to teach me, they would not have none of that stuff. I would not, good thing I was young, I was able to learn, and I was able to be taught, and I always remember that. So, yeah, well, guys, things to make you go, maybe out there one day you guys may be in a spot where you think all hope is lost, or something that you're not going to get back, and look at that. In the next 5 minutes, you could. You got to be inspired. You've got to have a positive attitude, and that's what he had, was a positive attitude. And so, when y'all think you're out there thinking that everything is lost, everything is no hope, if you can stay positive, you could find a little joy, a little thing that make it all right. And that's what happened today. They thought their house was burning, and they lost everything they owned, and then afterwards they got a little bit back, and they were so ecstatic that they got to keep that. So there's always a good thing in bad situations. You gotta stay positive, guys. For real, that's how this all works. Guys, this is going to be it today. I hope you enjoyed this video, or this podcast, sorry. As I say at the end of every of my podcasts, I want you to do unto others that you want done to yourself. Be nice. Be somebody's light and somebody's darkest cloud. They could be having a horrible day, and a hello from you could be bring them up. Just like the stuff in the fire. A little thing. Put a light in their darkest cloud. So if just say hi to somebody. When you're at the store, be nice. Open the door for somebody. Help an old lady put their groceries in their car. Or just say hi. Or ask, may I help you with that? They either say yay or nay, but you tried. Just be good to one another. Be nice. Pay it forward. All that good stuff. Well, until the next time. Ta-ta.